Good morning, students. Welcome to the class. Today we are going to start a new lesson, that is lesson number 8, Indian Heritage and Culture. Now everyone, before we start the lesson, open your SS textbook to page number 64. Got it everyone? SS textbook page number 64. Now you can see the heading, lesson number 8, Indian Heritage and Culture. First topic that we are going to cover in this lesson is architecture. Architecture means the monuments and the designs that were done on the monuments. During Harappan times, baked bricks were used to construct houses. Right? We have studied this later, that in Harappan civilization or Indus Valley civilization, they used to use baked bricks for constructing houses. Later, Buddhist and temple architecture introduced fine sculpture to the buildings. Then, after baked bricks, then came Buddhist and temple architecture. They also used spaces like caves and materials such as large rocks for construction. What they used in Buddhist and temple type of architecture? They used spaces like caves and materials such as large rocks. In the medieval period, domes or semicircular roofs over building became a trademark of the Indo-Islamic architecture. Now, firstly, Harappan times, then Buddhist or the temple-like structure. After that came the structure like dome or semicircular roof. Now you can see first two images, they are of medieval period. They have structure like semicircle on the top of the building. What it indicated? Indo-Islamic architecture. Architecture in the modern period combined the older architectural traditions with British influence. Like you can see the Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus, Mumbai, that is CST station, how it is designed. It is designed taking the ideas of Buddhist and temple architecture as well as the Indo-Islamic architecture and a small mixture of British. So here are the three images that gives you ancient period, medieval period and modern period. After that, second topic that we are going to cover is literature. Our literary heritage combines both religious and non-religious literature. Religious books are about religion, whereas stories, poems and dharmas constitute non-religious literature. Now religious literature, like we can say for Ramayana, Mahabharata, these are known as religious literature, whereas literature consisting of story or poems, dramas are non-religious literature. The Ved, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Purans are some religious texts. Literature in India evolved in different languages. Now, literature was of many languages like Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit, Dravidian, Persian, Arabic, Urdu, Hindi and so on. Like now also we can see we have many states. Every state have their own language. Same way in the olden days they had many languages, and the language they used mostly was used to write this literature. Literary knowledge was also passed on in the form of oral tradition in which stories, folk tales and songs were passed on from one generation to other through word of mouth. Now, beside writing in books, what they used to do, like they used to go to different places and speak. When they used to speak, they used to deliver their words, what you want, like when we want to say what we feel to someone else, we speak. The same way, some people, they used to travel from one place to another and speak the things that were written in literature form. So this was the second method of passing on the heritage from one generation to other. Languages. There are numerous languages and dialects spoken through the length and breadth of the country. Length and breadth of the country means north, south, east, west. A dialect is the way of speaking a language restricted to a particular area or a particular group. Now dialect means what? Like when we speak in English, when we read a word, there is a proper pronunciation of that word. So dialect means speaking a language in a particular way, and only a particular group of people speak that language. Like Gujarati, only Gujarati people living in Gujarat know how to speak the language Gujarati in a proper way. Same way, when we consider of Bengal, the people who belong to proper Bengal only can speak perfect Bengali, right? So this is known as dialect, a particular group of people speaking a particular language perfectly. Each state in India has a different language, and within the state various dialects are spoken, differing from region to region. Now let us take example of Gujarat. In Gujarat also we have many forms of Gujarati that we speak, right? When we come to South Gujarat, the pronunciation is different. When we go to North Gujarat, the pronunciation is different. The Constitution of India recognizes 20 scheduled languages. Some of these are Assamese, Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Kashmiri, Konkani, Malayalam and Manipuri. So this was all about languages that are used in India. Now something really very interesting that we are going to see is about paintings. Thousands of years ago, cave dwellers in India painted on cave wall to express themselves. Thousands of years ago, they did not have paper, right? So what they used to do? They used to paint on the caves. Later, during the medieval period, fine miniature painting were made. These paintings are much smaller than normal painting but are highly detailed. Now what happened? In the middle period, people, they painted a very small painting, but that painting contained a large information. Like you can see in the image, first there is a cave painting picture, then it is a picture of a Mughal miniature painting. This is a small painting of a Mughal empire that may be telling about the person who is ruling the country at that time. In the modern period of Indian history, many other painting styles developed. Right now we have many painting styles. Some of the well-known painters of this period are Raja Ravi Verma, Abanindranath Tagore and Amrita Shergill. Now you can see a picture painted by Amrita Shergill. So as time changed, the structure of constructing monuments or houses changed. Our literature also changed. The language that we use are increasing and it varies from place to place. The painting, first they used to do on caves, then miniature painting, and then a properly well developed skills were used for painting. So the next thing is music. Hindustani and Carnatic music are the main forms of classical music in India. Instruments such as tabla, sitar, flute and sarod are used while playing classical music. You have seen music that is played during Bharatnatyam or Kathakali. If you see, you will find these instruments: tabla, sitar, flute, sarod. Now these are the instruments that are used in classical music. India also has a rich tradition of regional music that includes tribal and folk music. Folk music is played while celebrating the harvest or major event in life such as birth and marriage. Like when someone is born in the family or during marriage occasions, right, we have a particular songs that are sung by the family members. Those are known as folk music. Some forms of regional music are Lotia of Rajasthan, Rasaiya Geet of Uttar Pradesh, Mando of Goa, and Ammanaivari of Tamil Nadu. Now these are some of the folk music or the regional music. These musics are sung in the particular place during some special occasion in the family or a group. So we are going to stop today. The other topics that are remaining in the lesson will be continued in the next lesson, next class. And if you find any doubt or any problem in understanding this portion, you can contact me. Okay everyone, bye.